between the Portland Trailblazers and the Denver Nuggets. We will hear from folks on both sides, including the two coaches, Casey Stern, the Hall of Famer, Isaiah Thomas, Hall of Famer in my mind, Brendan Haywood, leading shot blocker in the history of the Tar Heels as well. Any other notes we want to get out there? No, not about you.
We good.
It's all good in the hood and also with Rodney, because let me tell you something. When he galloped out there, you want to get fresh legs, and we saw the freshness, if you will, and the jump in Will Barton's game carry Denver offensively, defensive plays, extra possessions, and then all of a sudden Portland was sitting there. Who else is going to help CJ and Dame? Cantor, you can tell, struggling physically. Aminu's shot wasn't working, and all of a sudden here comes Rodney Hood. End up with 19 points. He really was the story in the fourth overtime.
He really was, and they kept finding a way to use him and get him isolated on Murray, who was the weak defender tonight. And every time that Hood was matched up against Murray, not only did he score, but he came through big in crucial times of the game when Lillard or McCollum was covered and guarded closely.
It is good that we saw in that last play, Brendan, that it was, and I didn't even realize that until the second time we saw that it was CJ who intercepts that pass. Because we had said in pregame, he's going to have one of these games in this series where he's even better than Dame. We know he can get off and just go crazy. But the play that he made after taking a shot that he missed to go beat out Torrey Craig, Jokic, and Millsap to get a board to hit Hood on the three was probably the biggest play of the entire game. And it wasn't one of his shots. He missed it, but it was that effort, which you saw on that play as well. He was literally everywhere defensively. The boards, he had 8 rebounds. He was fantastic tonight.
Well, and that's what greatness is all about. It's not just about scoring. It's about doing other things. It's about making winning plays, and that is a winning play. A winning play doesn't always have to be a shot. It doesn't always have to be a big-time block. But right there, you saw the rebound, the extra possession, then had to have the presence of mind to kick it out to Rodney Hood, who stepped it up, hit a big-time three. What'd you say? It was all good in the Hood tonight.
Yeah, and look, I'll tell you what.
You know, that was the second time that CJ has made a play like that. Game 2 in Denver. Remember, he gets the offensive rebound, dribbles it out, knocks it down to 3. Tonight, he gets the offensive rebound.
Here it is.
Kicks it back out.
This is the biggest play of the game right here. Watch this.
He's not ball watching.
And first of all, and a nice, rather than going right into the shot, good patience there by Hood, too, with Barton flying in.
Yeah, the shot fake, one of the best plays in basketball. Good patience. Players practice this every single day. Shot fake, let the defender fly by, improve your position, knock it down, good ball rotation, follow through, wave goodbye to your ball, knock down the three.
Shooter's paradise, as 3D would say.
Look, every sport can be cruel at times in how games end. The part of this that was difficult, as you see kind of the end of the finish here, is this is where I was going. Jokic he averaged 31 some odd minutes, I think, during the year, 65 minutes. And we all sat here, there's no way he's going to make 2. Ends up missing the first, gets the second, and then goes off the floor. I mean, he really gave him as much as they could physically. Zeke, at one point, nobody else on the team had played more than 40 minutes, and he was already well over 50. But he's going to be sitting there, as I'm sure we're going to hear after the game, kicking himself for not hitting those free throws.
I mean, even though he missed the free throw, I mean, he's had one of the greatest playoff performances tonight, that will go down, as in history. I mean, he ends up with 33 points, 18 rebounds, and 14 assists for another triple-double. I mean, you can't ask him to do any more than that. And the fact that he was able to still stand, and not only was he their top offensive player, but defensively, every time he was involved in some type of screen and roll, he had to, step up and defend the guards and everything else. So, I mean, he just played a fantastic game. I thought a crucial play in the overtime when Murray dribbled the basketball to the sideline. And
right out of bounds almost.
Yeah, almost out of bounds.
Yeah.
And as a guard, you're taught. You never dribble to the sideline. You always want to stay in the middle of the floor to give yourself some room. He dribbles right to the sideline, turns his back, and you're taught to keep your butt in the corner, so to speak, so you can always see the floor. He's got his back turned. He can't see what's in front of him. I mean, just a terrible position for him to be in, and he ends up turning the ball over on the sideline.
It's hard to nitpick, right? There's a lot that goes on. But we always talk about the lack of a point guard for Denver behind the scenes. It is a very big discussion. Jamal knows it is, because if you go back to after game one, in the press conference, somebody asked him about playing the point. He said, and he stopped the reporter and said, "I've always been a point guard." He's tired of hearing about it. But here's what I would bring up, because there were 2 plays to close 2 overtimes in which there was no execution. You had 7 seconds left, it's out of a timeout, and you get no real good shot. Paul Millsap in this game was 8 of 13 with 17 points. I would argue at least 10 of them were 5 of the biggest makes from the floor that Denver B. Wood had the whole game. He hit probably the 3 biggest shots in the overtimes for that team. We know how he is on the block. He's got mismatches. I was surprised on any of those plays. How do you not? I understand you could dribble and hit a deep 3. You didn't need one. Why not go to Millsap, who was really effective every time they got him the ball offensively in those overtimes?
Well, I think that's something that they're going to look at. When they look at on film, they're going to say, we missed a great opportunity. When we did go to Paul in the post, he had a height and size advantage, and the way he knows how to play down there. Like, Paul Millsap knows what to do in those situations. They probably should have went back to him some more. You saw the miscommunication on the play where Murray gets stuck with the ball and ends up taking a contested, 37-footer that banked off the glass. And that is the difference between younger teams and an older seasoned team in the playoff. Yeah. It's about getting quality possessions under duress.
Yes.
Like, okay, the crowd's going crazy. You're on the road, but you have to understand, where do we want the ball to go? Who has the mismatch? Identify that, and then play off of that spot very, very well. Even that last play where Jokic got fouled, and that was the right play. Jamal Murray was trying to clear him out. The Joker was like, no. Joker was like, listen, I saw your last shot. Yeah. I won't give you a chance to take another one. Give me the ball because I have a mismatch. And that's part of growth. Yeah. That's part of growth. This young Denver team, some of these young guys in the backcourt and the young guys that don't have the playoff experience, they're growing up. And it's good to see it. But sometimes you're going to take your lumps while you're trying to learn.
Yeah. I want to say this quickly. We're going to hear from C.J. McCollum in a second. But you think about growing up. Forget redemption, just stories of growth. Enes Kanter, there were conversations at the beginning of the year about like the tweets about LeBron and stuff back and forth, and the thing in New York and the thing over. There were points in this game. There's a point in overtime where literally he can't shoot. He grabs his back and drops the ball. He was in a ton of pain. You saw they showed on the bench. Dame was trying to literally go like this to him to go back out on the floor, and he couldn't even. Like he was in that 18 points, 15 boards. Was all over the place. Yeah. He has really, to me, and he's a free agent after the year, I think earned a lot of respect.
How does
right?
he even they got a game in 48 hours.
Yeah.
Like how does Kanter even get ready to play for that next game? That has to be something that Portland is worried about also.
And to me, every time I've watched Kanter play, even though he's had some difficulties, maybe at OKC, maybe in New York, I've never doubted his competitiveness as a player. Every time he stepped out on the floor, he was willing to compete and wanted to compete. Yeah. And he may not always play well, but you never doubt if this guy is a competitor and wants to win the basketball game. And I thought he was a true inspiration for the Trailblazers tonight.
He played Zeke 56 minutes on like 20% of his health.
Yeah.
Here's Terry Stotts after the win.
I have no idea what happened in the first half or the second half or the first 3 overtimes. And Rodney Hood came in and played great. It was a hell of a game. I've never been involved in a game like that, regular season or playoff, but it was amazing effort by both teams.
Questions? Royce Young, ESPN. Terry, the sub 2 go to Rodney there. Was it just looking for some fresh legs type of thing?
Well, I'd like to take credit for that, but actually Mo was cramping up a little bit, and so that was the reason for the substitution. But we did go to him a couple times. Obviously, the 3-point shot was a scramble situation. CJ had a great play, but we did go to him because we liked the matchup a couple times, and he had fresh legs.
Terry, what about your thought process in a game like that on whether to stay with the guys who are in there who obviously look tired or put a guy in who hasn't played in quite a while too? How tough is that decision?
It's a tough call. I think most coaches just kind of go with the guys who are involved in the game, guys who have gotten you to that point. Guys have been sitting on the bench for a while and maybe a little cold. It's just... both, it's just like heavyweight bout where you just, battle of attrition. But it's a good question, but I do think most coaches kind of leave those guys in there because they're in the flow of the game and they got you to that point.
Terry, Eric Anderson, Associated Press. Dame had only 2 turnovers tonight. They were blitzing him a lot, 8 assists. What did you like about his game tonight, getting the ball to other guys?
He didn't necessarily shoot the ball well, but he, 2 big plays, 2 big layups towards, wasn't looking good there for a while, and he gets to the rim twice. That was huge. It was fighting through fatigue because we asked so much of him at both ends. The thing about Dame is you can look at the box score, but his demeanor and the way he leads the team, whether he's shooting the ball well or not, is really important for us.
On your right, Coach.
Terry, Mike Richmond, NBC Sports Northwest. Can you put into words sort of the emotional release after 4 overtimes to get a win like this?
Well, it's, I don't know. It's I think everybody's pretty tired mentally and physically. You just don't know. The game was won and lost so many times by both teams. It was a roller coaster. Every overtime was a roller coaster. So I think it was. I don't know if it was as much elation as it was relief, but it was. I'll take either one.
In the back on the right, Coach.
Joe Freeman with the Oregonian. Terry, can you just describe Enes Kanter and what he's giving you and how he's playing with his shoulder, and he took that hard fall into the front row, just what he's giving you?
I tell you, my hat's off to Enes. He's a warrior. He goes out there. I don't know how much pain he's in. It looks like it's a painful situation for him. I asked him, I don't know how many times how he's doing. I'm okay, coach. I'm okay. He just battles. He's given us so much at the end of the regular season, obviously in the playoffs. We wouldn't be in the position we're in without him. But he's remarkable.
Third row middle. Yes, right here.
Emmanuel Laurent, Basket USA. I wanted to ask you about CJ.
Where are you?
Is it?
Okay.
CJ scored 41 points. What did you prefer in his performance tonight?
He made some big shots I forget which overtime was, but he hit a 2 and hit a 3. Big, tough shots to make because of the strength it takes to make those shots. He made some really clutch shots, and I thought, he was actually, had probably a little bit more of a game going, but Will Barton did a nice job on whoever he was guarding, and but for CJ, even though I don't know, what he actually shot, but for me it was more about the timeliness of his shots.
Back row center.
Terry Eggers, Portland Tribune. May sound crazy with that many points that were scored, but it seemed like it was pretty good defense a lot of the way. What did you think of your guys' defensive effort?
I thought it was good. I mean, when you look at every overtime, there wasn't a lot of scoring in overtime. I thought it was a very physical game. Neither team backed down. Everybody was locked in, getting to the point in the series after 3 games where everybody kind of knows what the other team does. Everybody kind of gets locked in, so it's kind of hard to score. But yeah, it was. I thought when you look at the shooting percentages, it was just a hard-fought game, and there was certainly a lot of defense. Denver did a hell of a job on the offensive boards. Just like Game 2 in the fourth quarter, they really pounded the glass, and that kept them in the game for I don't know how many fourth quarter and the overtimes, but I don't know if that was very good offensive rebounding team, but fatigue maybe came into that for us.
Last question, front row right.
Terry, Joseph Henderson, Associated Press. I know it's only 1 win in 1 game, but does it feel like more than 1? And how much?
Well, it's 1.5 since we played. We played a game and a half, so let's get 1.5. But we still have to get to 4.
How much can that momentum mean going into Game 4?
I don't know about momentum. I mean, we'll see. It's a quick turnaround for a Sunday 4 o'clock game, so it'll be interesting how both teams come out going into Game 4.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Unbelievable game. What can you say? We're talking about 4 overtimes, nearly a 5th, tons of big shots, tons of great defense, and there's a good point there. despite all of the scoring, and just unbelievable shooting at one point during the overtimes from C.J. McCollum, who also held way down the court. There were just so many moments in this game. I want to go to something that was asked there in the presser with Terry Stotts, and we're going to hear, obviously, soon from Coach Malone. Greater energy off a win from this, tougher to handle off a loss. Hang on to that. Let's hear from Mike Malone.
Question's fine.
Second row center.
Coach, can you describe the emotions of those 4 overtimes and sort of how much it wavered throughout those 4 overtime sessions?
Yeah, it's lots of highs and lows. And when you play a 4 overtime game and you come up just short, you're disappointed. That game is a instant classic. Couldn't have been proud of our guys for the fight, staying with it. Nikola Jokic played 65 minutes tonight. That's unheard of. That's ridiculous. I can't do that to him. That's too many minutes. But we fought. That's all you can ask for. Too many second chance points, too many turnovers. That was a difference in the game. But, that was a hell of a basketball game by 2 very good basketball teams.
Front row, identify yourself, please.
Harrison Wynn, BSN Denver. Coach, I think Nikola had 6 points or so early in the third quarter. You guys had a timeout. Wondering if you delivered a message to him there, because he came out super aggressive, hit a couple field goals right after that, and then just kind of your impression of how he was able to, put away all the exhaustion that he was probably experiencing in the overtime periods late.
Yeah, there was one timeout. I'm not sure when it was, Harrison. I said, listen, we got to get this big fella going. We got to start getting him the ball. I don't care if they're double teaming him or not. Let's get him the ball, let him make plays, let him be aggressive and score. And he was able to do so. We had our chances. We played great defense once again, another hell of a defensive effort. But, big kick-out 3 to Rodney Hood. Rodney Hood had a huge impact in the game. They went to him. He went right at Jamal Murray. He scored time, I think 2 times in a row. Played good defense. They kick it out. He gets a 3-point shot. But Nikola, just even going into the 3rd or 4th overtime, I just said to him, you're not tired. You're not tired. And he was phenomenal. I've never been a part of a game like this. 4 overtimes. That really both teams deserve to win. You feel bad there's a loser, but that's the way it goes. We came up just short. We have to learn from it. And there's a quick turnaround. Place Sunday afternoon, so we'll try to get as much rest as we can.
Third row center.
Joe Fisher, 1080 The Fan, you just mentioned the quick turnaround. What do you have to do to rest these guys with these unheard of minutes that they play tonight? I mean, you really have a really quick turnaround, so what do you have to do?
They have the same turnaround. Those guys played a lot of minutes as well. I mean, Cantor played 56, McCollum 60. Right there, we're talking about a playoff game. Guys just played 60 minutes. That's crazy. So, yeah, you give them rest. You let them sleep in. You get them treatment, rehab, recovery, and, you try to learn from the loss and get ready to battle. Both teams are exhausted, so it's the same for them as it is for us. So we will not use that as an excuse. We haven't used it all year long, and we won't start using it now.
Front row center.
Michael Omyoungsik, ESPN. As you're coaching this game, do you even allow yourself, I know you're locked in, it's a playoff game, but do you even look at your coaching staff and just be like, what is going on here? This game is just not ending at all.
Yeah, there were a couple of those moments. There were a couple of moments where I thought we, had the game. And obviously the big turnover on the sideline, Jamal, with C.J. McCollum knocking the ball away. We got a couple of stops, but they get kick-out 3s. But to your point, it was almost like, when is this game going to end? It kept on going and going and going. And I think it speaks to, their group, our group, competitors, fighters, and leaving it all out on the floor. I mean, if I was at home watching this game tonight, I'd have been glued to my TV. This was a great basketball game. Wasn't pretty at all times, but the effort, the competitive spirit from both groups was outstanding. So hats off to Portland. Great win for them. And now we have to try to get one on Sunday afternoon.
Back row center.
Mike, Dwight Jennings, NBC Sports Northwest. You look back at the game, do you have a regret or two on something that you could have done or would have done? I know you had a 4-point lead. You mentioned the turnover on the sideline there, but you gave up back-to-back layups to Lillard in that situation to tie the game.
Yeah, I have no regrets. We left everything. I left everything out on that floor. And so, we'll watch film and try to see what we can do better. But as far as regrets go, I have 0.
Second
Mike Singer, Denver Post. You rode with Will throughout the 4 overtime sessions. What did you see from him? I think he had a couple clutch three-pointers, some big defensive stops. What did you see from him in the performance tonight?
Will has played well defensively. He's rebounded, but tonight was, I think, the first game in the playoffs where he was really had an impact on the offensive end of the floor. To your point, he went out there off the bench, 8 of 18 from the field, 3 of 7 from 3, 9 rebounds, 22 points, and he's played against these guys. He's played in this building. And I thought he gave us a good lift offensively and defensively and on the glass. So it was great to see. I'm happy for Will. Obviously, I would have been happier if we were able to pull out the win, but we're going to need everybody. I mean, obviously guys are tired and going to be really drained with the limits that we're pushing them to. But, Game 4, the playoffs on the road, backs against the wall. Let's leave it all out there.
Last question, second row.
Hey, Coach. Christian Clark, BSN Denver. With Nikola, just what was kind of your internal struggle like? I mean, keeping him out there, even though he's gas, but anytime you do take him off the floor, their lead got a little bit bigger or your lead went down.
Well, I think you just said it. Nikola Jokic is our best player, and we are at our best when he's on the floor making plays for himself and for his teammates. When I rode him that fourth quarter, I had no idea it was going to go into 4 more overtimes. And then, so as we're going along, I'm saying, wow, how are we going to get through this one? So I apologized to him in the locker room. I said, listen, and he doesn't complain. He said, you don't have to apologize. But, I mean, I've never seen that. 64-58. That's a real number. That is a real number. So, but he was fantastic. 33 points, 18 rebounds, 14 assists. The guy was incredible. And I was just hoping that, we could win the game and I could finally get him home and get him some rest. But, it just didn't go our way. And not from a lack of effort. And that's the break sometimes, and we'll be better off for it. This was a great experience for our young guys. Like, so many teaching moments for Jamal Murray. The turnovers, that kind of stuff. And the best time to teach is after a tough loss. So many teachable moments. And that's what we're going to use this for. And I know on Sunday afternoon we'll leave it all out there again. Appreciate it, everybody.